Now this is a firewood operation. I don't know if you guys can see how big these mountains of firewood are, but they've got stuff everywhere. Buildings full of firewood, firewood poles. Definitely a big equipment yard. Right there is the pile we're getting firewood from. All right, I am back. So I made a run this morning to that firewood business I was just showing you guys, and that's a big place. They're about an hour from my house, so not too far from here. He has a really nice selection of firewood. They sell everything in bulk, so everything by the cord. They have green firewood you can buy. He's got seasoned firewood. He's got kiln-dried firewood. And they also sell kiln-dried bundled firewood that you can buy by the individual pack or by the skid. So they really cater to businesses that like to sell firewood or people that like to buy by the cord. And they have a lot of stuff there. So, you know, he's never going to be out of firewood. So that was a really good place I found to buy firewood from any time of the year. That leads into my topic for today's video, which is my #1 piece of advice for anybody looking to start a firewood business. And that piece of advice is sourcing. So the hardest thing to figure out when you start a firewood business is how much firewood you're going to need, how successful your business is going to be, how fast you're going to sell firewood. So having multiple avenues of buying firewood or sourcing firewood is a must-have. For me, you know, this is a side business. I have a full-time job. I have a busy family life. So I can't dedicate all my time to, you know, sourcing free firewood, hauling firewood off of my property. I've got 7 acres. It's all wooded. You know, it's not a big piece of property, but it's not even close to big enough for what you would need if you wanted to source all the wood off your own land. And I wouldn't suggest it anyway, because you're just not going to have time. You need to have a source for free firewood. You know, so if you have land or friends' land or family's land, great. You know, you're going to need that as a piece of your business. You also need to find somebody that sells firewood poles. So if you live in an area where your firewood business is going to be successful, then you're also going to have a lot of tree services. And tree services are always looking for places to get rid of firewood. So I have found several people in my area that sell firewood poles by the dump trailer load. You usually get a little over a cord. I buy around here for about $100 for a load. So, you know, that's an easy way to buy firewood poles, have them delivered right to my driveway. So I'm doing minimal moving it, and just pretty much just cutting it, splitting it, and stacking it, which saves you quite a bit of time over cutting a tree down or cutting up a dead tree that had fallen on your property and hauling it to your log yard. Another thing, so I guess 3 things, right? So having a source for free firewood, having a source for firewood poles, and then having a good source for seasoned firewood that is already processed, because you never know, like I said earlier, how busy you're going to be or when you might have a need for a bulk order. You know, maybe maybe one of your customers refers you to a bunch of friends or a business they know, and somebody wants to buy, you know, 10, 20, 40, 50 bundles of firewood from you. So what are you going to do in that case? You don't want to turn the business down. So you want to make sure that you always have access to firewood. ideally you have everything on your property or in your log yard ready to go. But in the worst case scenario, you know, where can you go buy that firewood to resell it? Because when you're selling bundled firewood, um, you're always going to be able to make money over what you're buying it for in bulk. You know, the last couple loads I've bought, I've paid a little over $200 for a cord of processed firewood, and I know that I can sell that whole cord bundled up for about $700. So, you know, there's a $500 profit in there. Now, off of that $500, you're going to have, you know, fuel because you had to drive and get it. Whatever your bundling process is, whether it's bags or the wraps, you know, you have to take that into account. So whatever other expenses, you know, you have to just figure it all out on your own and, you know, see what's best for you. But you know, sometimes you might have to make a little less money to satisfy an order so you don't lose that customer. You know, that's another thing is just talking to your customers. You know, I always try to make it a point, if I see somebody at my roadside stand, to go down there, say hi to them, you know, strike up a little conversation, you know, be personable with people. That's sales. That's sales 101 right there. You know, it's going to make them feel good about what they're buying and hopefully come back or, you know, refer friends to you as well. And then you never know what's going to lead from that. So last weekend, I had a customer stop by. I was outside playing with the kids, and a guy had pulled in, so I went down, said hi to him. Him and his wife were loading their van up because they were going camping for the weekend, and just started a conversation. He mentioned that the place he used to buy his bundled firewood no longer sells it, which is like a little convenience store not too far from here. And the person that she was buying her bundles from raised the prices a couple dollars on her. So she just couldn't afford to buy it anymore and just stopped selling firewood. So he gave me her name and number, and I'm going to reach out to her, you know, in the next week or so and see if I can work out a deal where, you know, I start supplying her with firewood to sell. So you never know what comes from, you know, just saying hi to a customer. But that's my number one tip: sourcing, and sample a couple different ones. You know, I have bought seasoned firewood from a couple different sellers. I have bought firewood poles from a couple different sellers. So you want to kind of sample it all, and until you find one that you like, or maybe you find somebody that always has a supply versus somebody that just gets a load every once in a while. You know, they sell it and then they don't get anything for a couple more months. So, you know, it's good to have multiple sources when you have that need to buy firewood. So, all right, that's my tip. I just put this rack together for that cord I just bought. So I bought one cord. I paid $245 for it. It took me about 2 hours to go down and back to get it. So the truck actually did pretty good on fuel. I think I averaged 10.7 on my way back. On my way there with the trailer unloaded, I was like 10.2. And then I did a little bit better coming back with the trailer loaded down. So not too bad for hauling a pretty heavy load of firewood. But this rack behind me is going to hold a cord. This is 10 feet long. Let me get a little better shot of it here. So this is a 10-foot long rack. I'm going to do 2 rows of 16-inch firewood, and I'm going to stack them 5 feet tall. So we'll have nice airflow all the way through it. We'll have a little over a cord on there. It'll be able to hold a little over a cord. We'll see. I think he may have overloaded me a little bit. So I was really happy with that. You know, it wasn't the cheapest, but the service was really good. The firewood looks really nice. I'm gonna have to split down some of it. But everybody that worked there was really friendly. So I think I'll definitely be going back and buying more firewood from them. So let's start to get this unloaded. I'm not going to get all of it done today. It's already getting late and I have to go pick up the kids soon. So I want to get as much done as possible in the next hour. And then looks like we're going to be pretty good weather-wise for a couple more days. So I'll be able to get all that unloaded and covered up before we get any significant amount of rain in here. So let's get to it. All right, so here's that load I bought. So that is a 14-foot trailer, and that thing is loaded to the brim. So we could not fit another piece of firewood in there. He had a calculation that he did for loose firewood, which was actually really nice. And then I think he put like another half scoop or something on top of that, just because we had a little more room to kind of heave up that center a little bit. But I had everything packed tight against that tailgate, and don't think I lost anything on the way home. So pretty happy with that. All right, guys. I think that's gonna wrap things up for today. I got to start cleaning up, but we got and I think about six bucket loads with the tractor. So yeah, maybe not quite halfway done. So we still got a lot more to get over here. This stuff all needs split down to a smaller size. It's a little too big for how I like to sell it. And this stuff's a little dirty, so you know, I'm just gonna sell all this as campfire wood this summer. In about a month, it should all be ready to go and ready to sell. So not too bad. All right, thanks for joining me, and I will see you guys on the next one.